Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is now just 2 weeks away from its official release by writer and director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio, as well as creator George Lucas. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, one thing about Episode 9 that a lot of fans are very curious about is exactly how the revelations will be handled by Disney and Lucasfilm, and exactly what kind of characters we're going to look at in a different way in, of course, The Last Jedi and The Force Awakens. And that's the major thing about this movie, is that we do know that many of the core characters like Rey and Kylo Ren are going to pretty much be examined in a different way after we watch The Rise of Skywalker, and it's going to change how we view the past 8 Star Wars movies that come before this one as well. Now, on top of all of this, we do know that there are going to be a lot of revelations around the character of Rey in this movie by JJ. JJ really wanted to make it clear that everything there is to be told about Rey will be answered in both Episode 9 and the official novelization of The Rise of Skywalker, also due for release in March of 2020, just next year. Now, with that being said, what's really intriguing about Rey, and specifically Rey's father, is that shot descriptions consisting of a sequence where it's explained that Rey is said to travel to the world of Exegol, where she eventually discovers Palpatine's base, where she makes her way down to her grandfather's throne room. It's explained that this is where both Palpatine and Rey begin to go into a confrontation, where Sidious is said to be hooked up to a large crane machine, where he begins to reveal some revelations about her lineage. Now, this is where Sidious is able to reassure Rey that he is actually indeed her grandfather, and that there is no escape for her now from the dark side of the Force. This is where it's explained that Palpatine begins to reveal secrets about herself, where she becomes overwhelmed and frightened. It's stated that the upcoming novelization for The Rise of Skywalker will address key secrets about Palpatine's son, who is said to be Rey's father in the film, that will appear in the form of flashbacks. It's said that the novelization will go over how the lightsaber that Dark Rey uses in the visions in the film is actually the lightsaber design that Palpatine had crafted for his son, Yan, before Palpatine's son vanished somewhere in the galaxy and distanced himself from Sidious and met Rey's mother. It's explained that the double-bladed red lightsaber that Dark Rey uses in the vision is actually Rey's father's, that is initiated by Palpatine, and that Sidious in the upcoming novel for the film in March of 2020 will explain that her father even helped develop the Snow clones that will be introduced in the beginning of the film. It's said that the Snow clones were developed between Palpatine and his son a very long time ago, sometime after the events of Episode 6, and that Palpatine's son named Yan eventually betrayed his father Palpatine by running off over to the Outer Rim and staying hidden from his powerful father. Now, the story of Palpatine's son will be further explored in the novel and in new canon lore, set to debut in 2020 next year, where also it's noted that the Sith dagger that Aachi used to kill Rey's father, who was actually said to be a Sith dagger that dates back to the Old Republic era, and that the ancient code on the dagger will unveil a massive secret in the film related to Rey's father and Palpatine. It's explained that Rey's father was powerful through the ways of the Force and collected both Jedi and Sith lore throughout the galaxy, and knew that he was being hunted down by Palpatine's Sith loyalists. Rey's father in the upcoming novelization of the film is said to also have an entire backstory that will be explained, that Rey's father also knew the location of a world or a star system hidden over in the unknown regions that contains an entire population of Force sensitives, that he had a map to that exact location, was going to head over there, but however he was killed by Aachi before Rey's father made it to that particular destination. Now, lastly, it's noted that Rey's father owned many hyperspace routes to the unknown regions that led to a powerful Force Nexus area that serves as the origins of the galaxy and where it all started from the very beginning for the Star Wars universe. So let's go over a couple of parts about this. Now, in case you guys did not know, The Rise of Skywalker is going to have many different revelations like this, and even more so in the novelization. In case you guys are very well unaware, the novelization of the film is basically going to be a book that will launch in March of 2020. It's going to be the longest novelization there is apparently of the sequel trilogy, that will actually answer tons of new questions and mysteries and revelations about specific key characters related to Palpatine, Rey, and her family, and how that's all going to be expanded in the novelization. So that's one thing to look forward to, at least, is that there will be answers more so in there. The only problem with that is that not every Star Wars fan reads the books, the novels, the comics, you name it. That's the only problem with this scenario, is that a lot of these revelations will be explored and explained in the novelization of The Rise of Skywalker in March of next year. And I don't think a lot of people are going to buy it, to be honest. I think that more so it's catered to the hardcore fans that buy these, different canon pieces and these pieces of lore that Disney and Lucasfilm are going to put out there. So, with that being said, I think the thing that really stands out to me a lot here is that the double-bladed red lightsaber that Dark Rey uses in the form of a vision is actually said to be the lightsaber that belonged to Rey's father, who is Palpatine's son, that Palpatine developed for his son, that basically Rey's father actually pretty much put it to the wayside and just completely refused to ever use that lightsaber. That's actually said to be a part of Palpatine's trickery, is that he's using certain truths about Rey's father and implementing that into the vision of Dark Rey. And that saber actually once belonged to Palpatine's son. Very interesting stuff. Now, obviously Palpatine's son is nothing new. This was actually already explored in the Star Wars Expanded Universe before Disney took over Lucasfilm, where Palpatine's son apparently was a mutant who went by the name of Triclops. Very horrible name, if I gotta really be honest there, but the fact that Palpatine's son in this movie is actually going by the name of Yahn, Y-A-H-N, it's a lot better than Triclops in the Expanded Universe. So, with that being said, the other piece that I do want to actually go over here real quick is, of course, how Rey's father actually knew about secret hyperspace routes that led to a specific star system that held an entire population of Force sensitives, and that Palpatine's son, also known as Rey's father, was going to head over there and essentially examine these Force sensitives. Now, I think the thing that really mind-boggles me the most is that Palpatine's son and Palpatine are the ones who created the Snoke clones. So his son played a large role in the Snoke clones that we talked about 2 days ago, where that's exactly how it's going to be explained, that Palpatine reveals to Kylo in the beginning of this movie that he is indeed Snoke, metaphorically speaking, that he is the one behind the idea of Snoke. There are many different clones within Palpatine's base that will be explored in the very beginning of this movie, and those clones were developed by Palpatine and his own son. Makes you wonder, right? It really does make you wonder, are those clones full of Palpatine DNA? That's the biggest question open on the table for discussion. Otherwise, how would Palpatine be able to really be able to control Snoke? It could very well be that he has the ability to do so, because we went over the fact that he read the manuscript of Darth Plagueis and learned the ability to control other people's bodies, so that could very well also explain as to why he was able to control Snoke as well. So Rey's father, I think, is going to be a very interesting storyline in this movie. It's one of the more intriguing parts about this movie, and the fact that Matt Smith was cut from the film as the Dark Acolyte who originally was going to be taken over by Palpatine's spirit, I think that there's a great possibility that maybe Matt Smith was given a different role after that scene was cut, and he could very well be portraying the role of Palpatine's son in the form of that little vision or flashback that Rey is going to see when she holds the Sith dagger and when Kylo Ren tells her the truth about exactly who her parents really are and who she's really connected to. So, this movie, like Anthony Daniels said, like Richard E. Grant said, and all the other cast and crew have said, is that this entire movie, from start to finish, is going to have reveals, revelations, left and right. I think it might be a little too much, to be honest, the fact that they really are overloading this movie with revelations, everything related to Rey's family, to Kylo Ren, to elements of the past that have yet to be explored, and even things that are going to reshape the Star Wars lore as we know it, I think is going to be a little bit overwhelming for some fans out there that just want to watch a simple Star Wars film. It might get a little too complex, for a lot of fans that just want to go ahead and watch a Star Wars movie. That's just my take on things. So, with that being said, I would really love to hear what each and every one of you guys have to say about Rey's father, also known as Palpatine's son, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.